Rodriguez, and I am the factory rep from Taylor Guitars, and I want to thank you for being here. I cover from Philadelphia all the way down to Key West and all the way west to East Tennessee. So I'm basically the southern guy, and I have the pleasure of being here today at Island Music, and I want to thank Keith and the whole team here for hosting me today. What we're going to be talking about today are some exciting brand new guitars from Taylor, just released this year in our new collections, and a look back at some of our other guitars that most folks know and love. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to start out by talking about our standard collection, which includes these guitars here on the right, on the bottom. This includes the 814 CE, 614 CE, and a brand new 314 Studio. That's one collection. And then, has anybody ever heard of a director's cut in the movies where you watch this movie and has extra scenes in it? Well, that's basically our builder's collection, which is super exciting over here. These three guitars are the newest additions to our Builder's Edition family. These two are the newest, and this one has been out for a while. I'm going to talk about that. The Builder's Edition collection actually gives the player all the same great sound and benefits of a Taylor guitar that everybody knows and loves, but with those extra scenes like in a director's cut. There's extra bevels, there's cutaways. It's a great softer feel. It's got upgraded machine heads, tuning machines. So a little bit more craftsmanship and materials in it. And then we're going to move to what's really exciting is our Legacy collection. These guitars here I'm going to talk about. It's a throwback to the late 80s with the guitars that Bob Taylor made famous with our Dreadnought 810, our 12-string that was made famous by Neil Young on the documentary Russ Never Sleeps. He helped put Taylor on the map with this 12-string. We're going to talk about that. And a 514 with a cedar top as part of the Legacy collection. And these have different architectural components to the inside of the guitar. Different bracing, back to old school bracing, that kind of thing. And then what's really exciting is brand new for 2025 are our Gold Label collection right here. I'm going to be going through a few of these guitars. And I want you to take a look at the Taylor script at the top of the headstock. Notice how different it is? I'll definitely get in depth here, but a quick preview. These guitars were designed by Andy Powers with a brand new architecture inside with different bracing that I'm going to talk about in just a moment. But they were built to actually emulate the sound of the old acoustic guitars from the 30s and 40s, going on the Wayback Bus, right? Now, do y'all know what a B3 organ is, or a Hammond organ? These guitars, the Gold Label collection, are actually larger on what we call the lower bout, the lower end of the guitar. And in some cases, they're deeper. So the way that we developed the sound quality on these guitars is to give you a much more robust, lower end oomph, and I call it the B3 growl. If you ever listen to those old records, or anybody with the big, deep, vintage old guitar, it's got that great low-end bass and really punchy middle. So that's what we really came about with these guitars and this design. All right, so let's talk about bracing. Bracing is really what's underneath the top of the guitar, right? Think of the top of the guitar like a speaker. Okay, that's where your sound is coming from. X-bracing was developed by Martin Guitars way back in the 1800s. It's been the de facto way to brace a guitar for decades, right? However, every manufacturer just about uses X-bracing or a derivative of. In fact, we are using X-bracing in our Legacy guitars. And then Andy Powers developed V bracing. Notice how different it looks? I call it two chopsticks, right? And V bracing was a big leap forward in technology in bracing the inside of the guitar. It actually gives the guitar a louder experience because you're using less wood, and the fact that it is direct up the center, the guitar sustains a lot longer than with X bracing. Okay, so that's just a couple of the things that V bracing brings to the table. And then again, with the gold label guitars, we've extended, Andy and team extended V bracing to add these fan braces down at the bottom. See that? We have 30s and 40s. Okay, let's start right out with the quintessential Taylor guitar, the 814 CE. This guitar is rosewood back and sides, and it's got a Sitka spruce top. Now, the title of this presentation is called Tone Show, and we like to call it tone tasting, like wine tasting, fine wine, right? Well, rosewood back and sides and a Sitka spruce top is super, super common. What sort of tone does that bring about? Have you seen the movie The Joker, the smiley face on the Joker, right? So what we have is nice low end, boomy low end, very shimmery, chimey, sparkly high end, and the middle is brought down, and that leaves room for the human voice, which is mid-range. So these combination of woods work very well if you're playing with a singer, or you are a singer, songwriter, or something like that. Super common. And again, this guitar, it plays, it reacts very well to an aggressive stance. You can hit it hard and it'll take it. And it also responds very well to a softer play. So right now, round of applause for Matt. Matt's our player for today, and he's gonna give us some strums on these guitars so we can hear the difference. And what I want you, I'm gonna lead the witness here. I want you to listen to the lows, the highs, as we go through the different guitar tone quality. All right. Notice that sustain. It's a really long sustain, and I'm sure he's feeling it in his gut too. You can, right, as you're holding it. All right, now I want to talk about the next guitar here in our standard lineup. Hey guys, thanks for coming. Make sure you get a couple of the cutouts from the sound holes. All right, we got a few other goodies for you. This guitar is a 614 CE, different wood combination. It is kind of under the radar for us, all right? It is a maple back and sides. We call it big leaf maple. Look at that hand rub stain on the back. Torrefied spruce top. Let's talk about what torrefied means. That's where we take the top, we bake it in an oxygen-free oven overnight to bake out the sugars and some of the other contents in the wood, and basically artificially age it like vintage. And what is the tone configuration or the EQ of maple? If the 814 and Sitka and rosewood is like a joker, I want you to think of a sunset. Maple has really solid, what we call mid fundamentals, right? That mid-range just jumps out really nice and beefy and woody, and the sides level out on the highs and the lows. This guitar is a great guitar because you can hit it hard and it won't overdo the room. It has a drop off. It's great for recording, doesn't have a lot of errant overtones when you're recording. It's, again, our grand auditorium shape, so it's our most common and most popular guitar shape. Fits really well. Let's give this one a listen. Again, put your listening ears on and let's hear the difference. Give me a couple of aggressive open chord strums and there you go. Let it ring. Hearing the difference there? A little more punchy in that mid-range and that center sunset kind of thing. Awesome. Thanks, Matt. This is brand new for 2025, a 314 Studio. It's our first entrance into a full-sized, all-solid wood Taylor guitar under $2,000. $19.99, I think it is? Right under two, okay? It's a Sapele back and sides, which is a kind of a little sister to in between rosewood and mahogany, still giving you that kind of EQ semi-joker smile. It's got a spruce top, again, torified. But in order to make it what we call the everyman or every lady's guitar or the affordable pro guitar, we've cut down on all the inlays and the accoutrements and the bling. But what you're getting is the complete Taylor sound that everybody knows and loves at a great affordable price. And I think you've had a couple of these already, right, Keith? Yeah. So this guitar sounds as good as it looks. And so if you're thinking about getting into a Taylor guitar and you just don't have the budget, I suggest to really take a hard look at this one. All right. We're listening to that EQ now. Play a few strums in the upper register. Now while he's playing, another thing I want to point out to you is notice the nut is a white nut on that. The width is 1 11/16. Standard is 1 3/4 when you see a black nut, okay? So that white nut on that guitar is 1 11/16. So it's just ever so thinner, a little bit thinner. What do you think? Not bad, right? Come on, let's, yeah. All right, good, thank you. All right, now we're gonna go into the director's cut I talked about earlier. I'll start with this one. This is an exciting new guitar for us. It's a Builder's Edition 524 CE. What does that mean in layman's terms? Mahogany top. Mahogany is that wood that's going to give you kind of also a sunset feel, right? Back and sides, very exciting, urban ash. That's our trademark for wood that is found on the sides of highways, parks, driveways, parking lots, all around Southern California. It actually came over in the early 1900s from Australia called Shamel ash. And it turns out this wood is great for guitar making, and it helps us with our directive as being a very conservationist company. We really like to save the forest and give wood a new life. And so therefore, this wood is in our backyard. It cuts down on our carbon footprint. We don't have to truck it in from all around the country or around the world, and it makes for a great guitar. Now let's talk about the director's cut or the extra scene elements on a Builder's Edition. We have a beveled armrest, which is super comfortable. And by the way, when we're done with the presentation, we're going to have what's called a petting zoo. That means you can come up and play all the guitars. And if you're interested in one, I'm sure Keith can work something out for you. The ones that you see with this tag are from my collection. You're welcome to purchase them if you like tonight. This guitar, as a Builder's Edition, not only has the beveled armrest, but we have the beveled cutaway here for those of you that like to get up in this register and noodle around a little bit. A couple of other things that are actually phenomenal on this guitar is that the sides on the back and the front are chamfered. That also means beveled. So it's very smooth all the way around. Also, the edges of the fretboard are beveled. So when you pick up this guitar after the show, you're going to go, ooh, I kind of like that feel right there. We also have upgraded tuners. These are called Gotoh 510s. What does that mean? 21-to-1 gear ratio, very high gear ratio. 21 turns to get 1 turn of the post, so your guitar stays in tune incredibly well. And it's, you know, if you're turning and turning and turning, this thing won't ever tune up. Actually, that's a good thing, because that's going to keep your guitar with a very high gear ratio in tune. So let's hear this. This is, again, a mahogany top, urban ash back and sides. It's going to give that chunky, woody feel. I kind of think of the old Beatles song, you know, old Beatles songs, sitting under a tree playing, you know, Norwegian wood, that kind of stuff. Let's hear it. Matt, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much. Again, we're listening for that EQ, that punchiness in the middle. Right? What do you think? Nice, huh? Overall, very even.
The one thing that I'll say, he didn't mention it, but this is actually really hard. So if you notice, the cutaway actually follows the shape of the neck here. If you look at other cutaways, they're usually straight, but this actually perfectly follows the shape of the neck, and that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely
It's actually called a shelf. So on most guitars, there's this shelf right here where the body kind of goes into the neck. You can see it a little bit. With our Builder's Editions, it's definitely flat right against it. So it's such a good feel and smooth all the way up.
perfect reveal. I mean, that's hard to do.
Thank you, Matt.
It's all good.
All right. This is brand new for 2025. Now we're stepping up in quality manufacturing and the techniques here. 814 CE sinker top with a Honduran rosewood back and sides. Let me explain myself. The 814, which is the quintessential flagship guitar, is East Indian rosewood. This is Honduran rosewood from the southern hemisphere. What's the difference? Honduran is more of an exotic rosewood, very dense, very tight. It has a really long throw to it. Does anybody know what the term marimba is? Like a xylophone, you play with mallets. And if you've ever seen one, they're all black keys, really dark black wood. Well, that's Honduran rosewood. They have a bell tone to it. You hit that thing and it rings. Same thing with these guitars, but there's more. We've added a sinker redwood top. What does that mean? Well, to be certified sinker, you're going to blow out on this. It has to be 100 years old or older, this top. And where do you find it? In the bottom of freshwater streams. So what we get is a bell tone, really exotic wood sound on the Honduran with a softer sound added for the sinker top and all the build accoutrements of a builder's edition. Like Matt said, no shelf here. See how that just goes straight up? Really, really comfortable. A great looking guitar, all the contoured edges, the high-end tuners, this time in gold, and slightly different sound here. That's a guitar you give to your grandkids' grandkids. Hand it down. Never get rid of it. Now this time, Matt, get aggressive and then get really light so they can hear the big changes. Isn't that great? Responds very well to a light touch, but yet it can take an aggressive strum. All right, now we're going to go to the pinnacle here from what I brought today. This one's only $6,500. All Koa, top, sides, and back with a satin finish, and a very thin satin finish. The thinner the finish, in case you don't know, allows the guitar to blossom with the sound that it makes. It just can be a little bit more expressive. All the same cutaways. It's a builder's edition, but let me tell you the story of Koa. We use Koa from one place on earth, the island of Hawaii, and our Koa forest is at 5,000 feet and up altitude. Why? Because at that altitude, the Koa trees have the best water, oxygen, and density ratio to make a great sounding acoustic guitar. Here's a cool fact about Koa trees. It takes about 50 years to grow them. So as we harvest them, we replant the Koa forest, again, so there's trees for our grandkids to build guitars. The other part of that is, it's illegal to cut down a Koa tree, so how the heck do we harvest it? Well, you have to get a permit from the government, number one, for that specific tree, or you wait till they fall over naturally due to hurricanes or whatever else. So we're constantly replanting the forest. We are the premier builder of Koa guitars in the world right now. And when you first build a Koa guitar, the grain is really, really tight because it is an exotic wood. But the more you play it, in about 6 months, they say, if you're playing it all the time, the grain will open up and blossom like a rose because of the frequencies of the sound going through the grain, articulating the wood, and also as it becomes accustomed to your air conditioning and where you live and the humidity where you're at. I live in Florida. I actually have a dehumidifier in Florida. All right? But Koa is a prized guitar. It's got a kind of a combination of a rosewood and a mahogany. It's going to give you all the fundamentals of chimey highs, nice punchy mids, and boomy lows. And it's a prized possession guitar. All right, Matt. How's Matt doing? He's doing good? Come on, give him a round of applause there. As you're looking at the guitar, that's called a vine inlay on the neck, and that's actually Paua abalone, Paua. It's a step up. As you can see, as he's moving it around, the blues and the greens really punch out at you.
It wasn't in tune. It didn't get a fair shake.
We'll give it another shake there. We got time. You guys okay? We doing okay? While he's doing that, any questions? Okay.
Is Koa just from
The island of Hawaii. Mm-hmm. The Hawaiian Islands. Mm-hmm. But our forest is on the big island.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anybody like steak, fish, seafood? What? There you go.
Sounds a lot better.
We're in Maryland. I had to have crab cakes earlier. Oh, that sounds great. Let it rip, man. Are you hearing the full spectrum of tone coming out of there? Really, really nice. All right. Now we're gonna go back in time. I'm gonna take you back to the 1980s. Our legacy collection from the 1980s. If we started out with this era and the late early 2020 with our Builder's Edition, and a little before that. Now it's time for the 1980s. Bob Taylor, in that era, really made famous our 810 Dreadnought, and that's this guitar right here. It's also a spruce top and a rosewood back and sides. Now, as you can see the shape of this guitar, you probably recognize it. There's a lot of guitars that are dreadnoughts from all manufacturers. This is our version that Bob made popular in the late 80s. Now, along with that, I want to remind you, this guitar is X-bracing, because that's what we used back in that era, okay? And we did not have our ES2 pickup system, which I'll talk about in a moment, which was on the other guitars that Matt was playing. This has an LR Baggs pickup in it because our ES2 wasn't even invented yet. But this is a big, bold dreadnought. Anybody know what the term dreadnought, where it comes from? The old warships, the dreadnought warships. That's because you're playing a dreadnought, you're filling up the room. I mean, this thing is just big and bold and strummy. Let's hear it.
810 was the first real guitar I ever bought.
There you go. I bet you wish you still had it.
I still do have
Ah, I knew it.
it. Of course I have.
Good man. Good man. Great bluegrass guitar. I do the Merle Fest every year. It's the largest bluegrass festival in the United States in North Carolina. And the Taylor booth gets swarmed by all the artists and everybody. What do you got? What's new? Traditional old school sound right there.
Yeah, so good. So good.
that killer? Yeah. Great job, Matt. Sounds great.
Hope you can sing loud, that's all.
Now, this, talk about a big, bold guitar. This was made popular in the late 80s. It's the Taylor 12-string, and this is one that Neil Young played and helped put Taylor on the map. If you ever saw the documentary Russ Never Sleeps, that's this guitar. And I got to tell you, the Legacy collection was brought back because we had customers just pleading with us. Where's that 810? Where's the 12-string? I want to get it. And notice it has the very recognizable mustache bridge. Some people call it Two Whales Kissing. Okay? But one thing important about Taylor 12 strings is we don't have the big fat baseball neck. It's the Taylor neck. So this guitar, again, was reintroduced with a neck upgrade to our current version of Taylor neck that has shims in it to help you adjust the neck in about 20 minutes. Instead of hot ungluing it, gluing it back, shaving down the saddle, all that kind of stuff, unnecessary with the Taylor neck. Obviously a little wider width on the nut, but if you don't have a 12-string in your collection, this might be one to consider. Know any Neil Young riffs? Okay, well, you know, it'll sound good any way you play it. I guarantee you. He's giving me the nod. Again, when I'm done with the presentation, you're welcome to come up and play any of these guitars. If you're inspired to purchase one, do. But if you're going to play any, really try out the 12-string. You'll be amazed.
It's different.
Yeah.
And it plays really, really well. It plays like a 6-string.
Okay, there's one more I brought in the Legacy collection. This is called the 514. It's mahogany back and sides, built to the old school spec, that X bracing that I showed you. It's got the LR Baggs pickup in here, but what we have on top is a cedar top, current, not 100-year-old sinker redwood, right? This is cedar redwood, and it is soft sounding. So with the mahogany back and sides, which is punchy middle, and you soften it up with that cedar on the top, it's going to give you that old school, when you hear it through the amp, that old school mid-range woodsy, out playing under a tree kind of tailgating kind of thing, right? I love this guitar. This was one of the ones that customer demand was through the roof. In fact, for many years, we were building them by custom build only. I want something mahogany with a cedar top because I like that sound. Can you ever bring it back? So we finally did as part of our Legacy collection, and it has turned out to be a runaway hit yet again. All right. Also, one more thing. Again, with the amp that he's playing through, the reason we're miking is because we want you to hear the natural sound of the differences between the wood combinations. When you plug a guitar in, you're basically hearing the pickup, and you can adjust the EQ to make it any way you want. Bob designed these amps so you hear the actual natural wood sound whether you're playing a Martin through it, a Guild, Taylor, you're going to hear what that guitar expresses, and it's not going to be colored. In fact, the EQ on that amplifier is set pretty much to flat. So what you're hearing is simply the wood amplified, okay? Now you're hearing a little middle punch. Any questions? God, you guys are easy today. Usually I get bombarded. What do you think, Matt?
It's nice. The top keeps it warm, and the mahogany keeps it woody.
Yeah, exactly. Good combination there. All right, that's it for the Legacy. Now we're going to move up into January 2025 with our new collection here called Gold Label. Again, I want to direct your vision to the headstock, and you'll see that it is a different script of Taylor on the headstock. That differentiates us. Also, the architecture of the guitar internally and externally is brand new for Taylor. I'll start out with this one. This is our 814E, torrefied Sitka spruce on the top in a sunburst. This is called a fire stripe pickguard with engraving. Something different on this guitar is we're also using Honduran on the bridge. All these little changes helps us design the sound that this guitar makes, or this collection of guitars, Gold Label. And what Andy was going for, and he definitely achieved it, Andy Powers, our lead master luthier, designer, and CEO currently under Bob, these guitars were emulated to sound like the guitars from the 30s and 40s. So again, like I said at the intro, it's got a low-end growl. It's much larger we call this the lower bout. And we widened it a little bit. And where is it? With the, oops, it's that other one. There it is. With this sort of bracing, V-braced fan at the bottom, because, and we can pass this around if you guys haven't seen it. What, you seen it already? Yeah, pass it around to the guys in the back. The fan bracing at the lower bout helps because this is such a larger guitar. Now, one thing that this guitar leaps into the future with is the action control neck. All Taylor guitars have a bolt-on neck where you can easily unbolt the neck, use some shims here and here, and adjust and set your neck within about 20 minutes with a good luthier, okay? This is a leap forward. There's a long post, or what we call tenon, inserted into the neck, into the body, with a 1/4-inch bolt inside at the base. And what you do is you just stick this flexible 1/4-inch driver, $10 on Amazon. You don't even have to detune. Stick it in here, grab that 1/4-inch bolt, and give it a turn one way or the other. Super, super high tech, super 2025, 2026. So if your guitar gets out of set, it's been in the trunk, you can learn how to do it. I'm not a tech, but I've been able to, adjust the neck very simply. And of course, you still have your truss rod adjustment for this. But your other adjustment, where you would normally have to take the neck off or hot unglue it or all that stuff, is now very easily done like this. And every tech that has learned this has just gone berserk. It's just gone off the charts. So this is a huge leap into technology with our action-controlled neck. Now, again, it's a larger lower bout. It's got the high-end machine tuners on here that I mentioned earlier. Gotoh 510s, that 21-to-1 gear ratio. And let's hear how this sounds. I've got a few flavors of this guitar up here, but it's brand new as of January 2026. This guitar shape is called our Super Auditorium. These guitars, that shape is Grand Auditorium. So super, it's super. Has that long sustain. Give it a hard strum and let it sustain. Isn't that great? Round of applause for that, huh? Brand new, 2026. Now, we have it in a couple of different flavors. That particular one is Sunburst. We also carry it in a natural top with the Honduran Rosewood. One that I don't have here is Koa back and sides, but if you're a Koa fan, we also offer it in Koa with a Sunburst or a natural. And then we move down one notch to a 517 in the same family as Gold Label. This is, as opposed to a Super Auditorium, this is a dual slope shoulder dreadnought, okay, in the line. Look how wide that wide body is there. You know you're going to get some low-end growl out of that. We also offer this, I love this color combination, cream pickguard, black. We also have the cream pickguard in Sunburst. Can be ordered that way. I love that color combination as well. Going to talk about that in a minute. But this guitar, you know, it's not as much bling, right? You can see the bling on these. But this guitar comes in at, what, $27.99 for the action control neck, the V fan bracing, LR Baggs pickup, and all this great sound quality with that low-end growl. All right. Immediate, right? What do you guys think?
Slightly out of tune, but this is nice.
Yeah, beautiful. Now this one is the last one in the collection. It also comes in a mahogany version. This is the rosewood version. This is called Gold Label 514. Basically a grand auditorium shape without the cutaway, okay? But with all the Gold Label architecture, fan V bracing, LR Baggs pickup, you know, very awesome construction. It's going to give you that old school sound. For those of you that, you know, some guitars are just a little too big. You might be a little smaller stature, or you just want something different. This one is available again in sunburst, natural, and with mahogany and or rosewood. All right. Long sustain on that. All right, everybody. Well, that pretty much concludes the tour of all of our new guitars. Any questions from any of you guys on build quality, what, you know, how it works and where all the wood comes from? Anything like that? No? Keith, they're very, very quiet this time. They got all the answers. Well, we did good. Well, hey, thank you again, Keith and Island Music Company. Round of applause, please. Thanks for hosting us. And Matt, our guitar player for the day. Thank you, Matt, so much. Great job. And right now, you guys can come on up and grab a guitar and see what you like. Come on. Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah, man. Go ahead. I'm Don. Hi.
John.
John, nice to meet you. Huh?
I actually work.
Oh, well, good.
So explain that on.
The action control neck is a long tenon coming from the bottom quarter of the neck into the upper bout. It's got a revolving ball in there, and you grab that 1/4-inch nut with the driver. It accomplishes this and a little bit of this. And then your truss rod obviously takes care of that. So as before, as you know, had to take the neck off, 120 different thicknesses of shims, right?
Yeah, it's still better.
Oh yeah, way better than a good one. Well, thanks. Hopefully I gave you some good info there. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it. Check it out. Johnny Cash right there.